morning. Hello everybody, hope you're having a great week and you're all keeping safe and well. I know it's very difficult when it's so lovely outside not to be outside all the time. If you're lucky enough to have a garden, that's okay, isn't it? It's lovely to be out in the garden. I can see all the blossom on our trees from the window here. Oh, I can just feel everything's going to collapse at the side here. So we've had to rearrange our dining room to do all these lives, and everything is pushed over in the corner. We won't show you behind the camera. So I'm just sort of hanging about to see who's going to join us today.
Oh, Sally Camps is here.
Oh, hi Sally. Nice to see you. Hope you're having a good week. I can't see it on my screen yet, so it's always difficult to see. But I think there's always a little bit of a delay between the filming and what
Sally
I see
Scott
on my
says,
screen.
hi Claire.
Oh, hi Sally. Hope you're having a good week. Thank you for joining me again. It's always so lovely to have these catch-ups every week. I think it's really nice to come along and see everybody. My laptop's not playing at all, so I can't see anybody at the moment. So hopefully it'll all catch up in a minute. Anyway, I'll carry on talking like I normally do. Just quite happy to just carry on talking to myself here. And I've got Amy behind the camera again today, and she'll come and say hello in a little while. So I thought I'd tell you what we've been up to this week. We've had another busy week, just as busy as ever. We're here. We've been doing the blazer workshop. We've been filming that and finishing that off. This is one of my samples that I've been working on, making a lovely blue wool mixture from Bloomsbury Square Fabrics. And the pattern I've used is
Wendy Williams is here.
Hi Wendy. Wendy's working on her blazer as well. So some of the ladies who were booked on the blazer workshop, they've been getting the videos to work at home as if they were in the sewing room. So we've been having a little Zoom catch-ups.
Suzanne Betty's here.
Hi Suzanne. Marilyn, I can see Marilyn, and Margaret is here as well. Hi Margaret. I still can't see the video on my page. That's really weird. As long as you can all see me, that's the main thing. That's the main thing. I'll have to just keep talking blind and hope it comes up at some point. Anyway, yeah, we've been working on the blazer this week. So I've been making 2 blazers and Amy's been making a blazer, and we've been filming all the steps. So the ladies have been working on that at home, and that'll be available as a product on the website fairly soon.
Oh, Louise is here.
Hi Louise.
Oh, Lisa's here from Upper Street.
Lisa. That's nice to see you as well. Oh, I can see myself now.
And Jilly's here.
Finally come up. Hi Jilly. It's so lovely to see everybody. I think it's coming up now. I can see it in the bottom corner, but I can't see it in the top corner. Let me just go down again and see where I am. I'm not there.
Can you see the comments?
No, I can't see anything at the moment. It's not showing at all.
Oh, well, I can tell you.
Okay, I'll just carry on and let Amy tell me. So carry on commenting and liking and saying hello, because it's really nice to know who's there, and hopefully my laptop will catch up with yours fairly soon. It's very strange that it's not showing. I'm just going to scroll down once more, then I'll stop. Okay, so that's what we've been doing this week. We've been making blazers. So we'd love you to know what you've all been making as well. I've seen some lovely things going up on the on the Midhurst Sewers page. That's been great. Some more lovely things being made for grandchildren. Lots of lovely things to make, and some lovely dresses as well. So let me know what you've been making. What have you all been sewing this week? If you had time to sew, you've all been out in the garden.
Dan Byrne is waving at you.
Oh, hi Dan.
Oh, and Sasha Fancy's here.
Hi Sasha. Really nice to see you. Hope you're all well.
And Jane Fields is here.
Hi Jane. Jane's working on her blazer this weekend as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing the blazer. We'll post pictures of all the finished ones when the workshop's finished. There'll be lots of fancy linings going on, I'm sure. So that'll be lovely. I wish I could see the comments here. It's very frustrating not being able to see what's going on. Perhaps I'm clicking on the wrong button. I might have to do a little refresh or something.
Just refresh it.
I'm going to just refresh it. Excuse me while I just refresh. You'll notice I haven't got a cup of tea on the table today because I constantly have cold cups of tea, so I'm being good and having water today. Let me see, I'm just refreshing my page, and hopefully I'll be able to see you all, because it's always nice to see everybody, even if it's a bit delayed. So what have you all been sewing today? Are you still working on summer wardrobes? I know somebody was telling me they're working on a winter coat at the moment, which is probably very, very good idea. Here we go, I can see now. Now I can see Sasha's comment and Jane's and everybody. So yeah, it's really nice to see everybody. So we're all well here. We're all keeping going, all looking after each other, like I'm sure you all are as well. So it was lovely to see lots of pictures, everyone dressed up last week. I hope you saw our pictures. We did try and take a sensible picture, but we're really not very good at taking sensible pictures between us, and terrible at selfies and things like that. We just keep laughing. So yeah, we just put a few pictures up to show you that we were taking part in virtual frock tales, and it was nice to see other people dressed up as well. I know Wendy put a picture of herself and Sally in the same dress, using the same pattern that I had. Hi Angela, nice to see you. Hope you're keeping well. Yeah, so that was really nice to see, and Claire doing her virtual frock tails in her jeans, that was good. Oh, Jilly, now Jilly, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And Suzanne is, Jilly was asking about scrubs fabric, I'll talk about that in a minute. And Margaret's saying, oh, poor Mark. Yeah, Margaret's had a few issues with her raw edge coat, so unfortunately the fabric was not very good. So I'm going to talk to you about that, Margaret. I think making a facing on that, we'll sort that one out, and then we'll do a different fabric for the raw edge coat at another date. But you should have a go at the blazer. So yeah, virtual frock tails was really good fun last week, so I'm a bit more low key today. And just this is the tie neck blouse from the Maker's Atelier book that I've got today in a silk georgette. Did a workshop on this last year, and we certainly had fun with this pattern. I know Jane and Louise made this. I don't know, Louise, did you finish your tie neck blouse? I'm sure you did in the end. It was really pretty, lovely fabrics, but quite tricky if you're working with fine fabrics. And maybe we'll do a video on that, working with fine fabrics. So yeah, we put a call out this week, so we thought we'd ask you what you would like me to demonstrate this week. It's always nice to do a little demonstration while we're having a chat. It keeps me busy, so I don't keep tapping my fingers on the table. Yeah, so I put a call out today, and we had a few people asking for, thank you Marilyn, I'm very pleased with this blouse, it's very nice to wear. Yeah, so I was just going to answer some of your questions because we couldn't do all the demos today, so I thought I'd just let you know what we were going to do. So one of the things we were asked for was a lap zip by Jen. Yes, we will do a lap zip, but I thought that might be a bit difficult to show accurately because you have to be really accurate with something like that, and to show that on the live when I know sometimes it gets a bit pixelated, I thought it might be a bit tricky, but we will do a video to go on YouTube of a lap zip. And the other thing was collars. Suzanne asked about collars. There is a video on YouTube for collars. We're doing the pulled corners, so getting really nice sharp pulled corners. Have a look at that, because that's a really good way of getting nice sharp corners for your collars. And then we will be filming making a shirt or a shirt dress in a few weeks time, so there'll be the whole thing of doing collars and cuffs and things for doing shirts later on. And what was the other one? Oh, Ruth asked about the cover stitch machine. Yes, now the cover stitch machine is tricky. I have got one on the floor over there, so we will film a little YouTube video on how to get the best out of your cover stitch. For those of you who don't know what a cover stitch machine is, it's the machine that's used for doing hems on stretch garments. Well, let me just see what Lisa's saying. Hi,
she's
Lisa.
making scrubs.
Oh, you're making scrubs too. Yes, we're doing scrubs. I'll have a chat about that in a second. 8 sets were collected yesterday, but it does feel good. Doesn't it feel good to be doing something, even in a small way we can help? Yes, we also, I'll talk about the scrubs in a second. Yeah, the cover stitch machine is it's a machine that's used just for doing the hems on stretch garments. So on the outside it looks like 2 rows of stitching. Underneath the looper is going backwards and forwards, so that gives a really nice stretch. You can get a similar look to a cover stitch with a twin needle, but the cover stitch gives you about, I think it's like 10 times more stretchy. So it's a really good machine if you're working a lot with stretch. So I will do a demo of that and put it onto YouTube. What else did we ask about? Oh yeah, so scrubs fabric. Let me just deal with that one, seeing as Julie's already mentioned. Julie did ask, she's having trouble getting the fabric for making scrubs. So scrubs is something that we can all get involved with. If you're a sewer and you have some time and you want to make scrubs for your local hospital, or for, and I'm actually making for my local doctor's surgery as well. There are several groups. There's Scrub Hub and For the Love of Scrubs, and you can go onto their Facebook pages and sign up with the local coordinators to make scrubs for your local hospital. I'm working with the Dream Team. We mentioned last week the Dream Team are my lovely ladies who we work on lots of projects for Goodwood. So when Goodwood have big events, we make costumes and all sorts of interesting things. So at the moment we're working on scrubs. So I got the fabric in and then sent it all out, and we're working for Worthing Hospital and St Richard's Hospital at the moment, and also GP surgeries. So the fabric, when it comes to the fabric, some hospitals are asking for specific fabrics, and I know Jilly was mentioning certain weights, and some hospitals are asking for specific weights, but a lot of them are just happy with anything they can wash at 60 degrees. So I had some poly cotton come in this week, which was 65 poly, 35 cotton, washed it at 60 degrees, absolutely fine. So it just depends who your coordinator is that you're working with. So just check with them. But generally, a lot of them are just happy to have anything they can wash at 60 degrees. They just literally want to wear something over their own clothes that they can take off and wash. And if you can make one of the little laundry bags to go with it as well, that's really great. There's also lots of projects out there for making headbands and with buttons on the side or little button backs just for stopping the elastic that goes behind the ears, just to stop it pulling, because there's a lot of chafing going on behind the ears. But mainly the main thing that we're working on is the scrubs and the bags to go into the washing. So any fabric that can wash at 60 degrees, I've seen some made in some really fancy colours, especially for nurses that are working on children's wards. So check those two Facebook pages. There's probably other ones as well, but Louise is saying that her mum used to work at Worthing Hospital, and she still has friends there, and they're really grateful for all the scrubs. So masks, she mentions masks as well, but really that's only specifically if they've asked for masks, because masks, as we know, have to be a certain grade. I know we've got one lady in our group who is sewing elastic onto medical masks. She's been sent the actual medical ones, and the elastic's just been glued on, so she's been reinforcing the elastic. So that's a really good thing to get on with as well. That's for Queen Alexandra, I think, down in Portsmouth, Southampton. So I hope that helps, Jilly. But do just really the fabric, we're using mainly anything blue that washes at 60 degrees. So I hope that helps. Sally's been working on scrubs as well. MP Fabrics, who used to be some of the wholesalers that we were dealing with, are now open to the public. If you're buying a roll of fabric or even sort of 10-15 meters of fabric to make scrubs, they're now allowing members of the public who are working on scrubs to buy at wholesale prices. So I think, Sally's saying MP Fabrics, who are in North London. I've bought from EPRA, who are in Brick Lane, and Oddies as well, and they're opening up their wholesale side to people who are making scrubs. So just check. And also, if you go onto these Facebook pages, like for the Love of Scrubs and for the Scrub Hub, they've also got a list of suppliers who have got the fabrics available. So hi Pat, nice to see you. Hope you're all well. It's so lovely to see everybody, really nice. So going back to demos, I am going to do some demos today, just a couple just to keep you going. The first one was, what was it? Oh no, Victoria from Bloomsbury Square. She asked me to demonstrate flat fell seams, and I have a feeling that's to do with scrub making. Some of the scrub patterns do ask for flat fell seams, but I'm going to demonstrate them. But really, if you're making lots, flat fell seams can be quite time consuming. So I've just, what's Sally saying? Hampshire Scrubbers are providing fabric. Yeah, some of the groups are providing fabric. It's just finding the ones that are providing. Some have done crowdfunding to pay for the fabric. Thank you, Sally, for that one, because there are a few that are doing that. So I think Scrub Hub as well, I think they're providing fabrics as well. So when we're doing them, we're just overlocking the edges and then stitching the seams afterwards, so you can press the seams open, particularly for the sides. Hi Claire. Claire says she's got her jeans on today, but not the seams. Actually, I'm just going to stand up because I've got my jeans on today. So not quite so dressed up today. But these are the ginger jeans, and we'll also be filming a video. I love my jeans. You don't see me in jeans very often, I know. But yeah, I've got my jeans on today, and we will be filming a video for the ginger jeans at some point and putting that up. So that's one of the workshops we would have been doing in a few weeks' time, actually. So yeah, going back to the scrubs, sorry, I'm so easily distracted. Yeah, so some of them do ask for flat fell seams. They are really strong, a flat fell seam. It is the one that you would have on jeans, actually. But for these scrubs, really, I mean, you can just either make some of them up on a 4-thread overlock, or I've been overlocking the raw edges and then stitching the seams afterwards, so they're sort of nice and neat inside. But flat fell seams, I've got a bit of calico here that I'm going to demonstrate on. For a proper flat fell seam, Amy's going to do her fancy camera work now. Oh no, so Wendy Williams, Wendy's daughter Sarah is a nurse and she's very short of scrubs. Then they're using 50 pairs a shift and they've only got 28 delivered on a day. Apparently there are 1,000 due at St Thomas on Sunday, so fingers crossed. So Wendy, if Sarah's hospital needs scrubs, just let us know and we're happy to get on board with that, absolutely. I've got some quite nice 100% cotton that we're using as well for ours. I always think it's nice to have 100% cotton. It's a bit thicker, a bit heavier to post as well.
Okay, we're zoomed in.
Oh, we're zoomed in. Okay, we're zoomed in. I'm trying to maintain my nails as well at the moment. So when you're want to do a flat fell seam, you first of all start with your fabric wrong sides together. So a little bit like when you're doing a French seam, you start off wrong sides together and pin your edges together. And as always, I'm pinning using my pins like a basting, going parallel to the edge of the fabric. I know we have this discussion quite a lot in the sewing room about which ways to pin, and it is personal choice. I like to pin this way because I like my pins to be along my stitching line. If you're right-handed, if you have your raw edges away from you when you're pinning, the pins will always be in the right direction to take out when you're sewing. If you're left-handed, have your raw edges towards you. So just a little tip there. So I'm going to stitch this seam with a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance. Hold on, just got to get the foot of my machine disappeared on the table. We're always so organised. Notice we have the white fabric on the table today, so we're almost organised.
Oh, Sian's here.
Hi Sian, how are you?
There she is. No, I'm showing you.
Oh, you're showing me. Okay, so
I can't really. Okay.
I'm going to stitch this seam. I'm just doing the normal standard seam allowance, but you do want at least a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance when you're doing flat fell seams. So if your pattern has less, you might want to increase the seam allowance to make it a bit easier. I remember we had, I think it was Jane, making a style art pattern for a denim jacket, and it had very small seam allowances, and it was calling for flat fell seams, and it makes it very tricky. So I've stitched my seam. There we go. I did have my little scissors out here, obviously.
Oh, Suzanne is saying thank you for the better background today.
Oh, is that better today? Yeah, we were organised.
Oh, Louise says that there's a YouTube video about how to maintain your gel manicure or acrylic during lockdown.
Thank you, Louise. Louise is also our resident beauty expert, so always has the...
Louise, we have a lamp coming today.
Yes.
We have a UV lamp and gel nail. I'm very excited.
And I did buy an electric nail file to file
I mean,
down.
the skills that we're learning, honestly. Nail technician, cameraman, TV presenter.
Yeah, we're doing all of it. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you. Yeah, this I mentioned. This is the Maker's Atelier tie neck blouse from the book. So it's a lovely. I really like wearing this. It's a nice blouse. It's in silk georgette, so a nice comfy blouse to wear. Thank you. So I stitched my seam 1.5 centimetres from the edge there, and then I'm going to just finger press this because it's calico, but you would then go to the iron and press the seams in one direction like this. We're going to trim off the underneath one. The underneath one, we're going to trim it off to about half. So I'm going to concentrate on this and not look at the screen for a minute.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, so Amy's going to tell me so I don't.
Louise is very excited about our gel nail kit.
Maybe we'll do a video on that.
Yeah. Jane says she remembers it very well.
Oh, that was the flat fell seams on with a 1 centimetre seam allowance. So you've trimmed off the underneath seam. Everything's pressed that way. You then turn under the top seam so it's encasing that raw edge there, and pin through all layers. It's always tricky when I've got a fabric on the table. I'm just going to put my ruler underneath. There we go, now I can pin properly. So it's better to have a hard surface underneath when you're pinning, so you don't end up pinning the tablecloth. So I'm just wrapping that top raw edge over the underneath one. And you could press this, you could do this at the ironing board and press it. Obviously I've got calico here, so I'm just finger pressing it. and then I'm going to top stitch down the other edge. And I'd really like a ditch foot, but I don't think I've got one. I wasn't that prepared. Oh, I have.
Well done.
I am prepared. So when you're top stitching like this, you know it can be quite tricky to do a straight line. And I always say in class that the best way to get a straight line is to not look at the needle. So anything that you've got that can help you with that is really useful. So I like to use a ditch foot. In Genomi's this is an S, and it's got a guide in the middle here. And that guide is right behind the needle. So when I'm using this for doing top stitching, I'll just move the needle over slightly. So the guide is running along the edge of the seam here, and I've moved the needle over slightly so that I can get a nice straight seam. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Ginny likes the little needle storage thingamy on the top of the machine.
Oh, this. Yeah. This is very handy. Yeah, this comes with the machines. I think Genomi would do very well if they sold those separately, I have to say. So I'm just going to move the needle over slightly so that I can stitch on the edge of the fabric.
It's very handy, that pin cushion, if you're top stitching and you need to keep changing a needle.
If you're using a top stitch thread,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
very handy.
So I've moved my needle over to the left to position 1. So now I can just stitch straight down. Yeah.
Yeah.
You doing fancy camera work?
Well, I was, and then I tripped over the tripod.
Oh. So there we go. I could actually move it over to 0.5 actually, but I'll leave it there for now. So now I'm just running the guide down along the edge of the seam. I think it's catching it. I might have missed a bit because I just stopped and looked. So I might only look at half of this seam. I'm doing things at a funny angle.
Tell me about it. Classy, Amy. Oh, thanks, Louise.
I can't see the pile of stuff that's fallen down behind the counter.
No.
So yeah, we're only going to look at half this seam. We're only going to look at this bit because I got distracted for a minute and I lost it. There we go. So there we go. So I have just stitched along that seam there. So that's encased all those raw edges, and it's a really nice strong seam. So I hope that's helped with the flat fell seams. I probably could have moved that needle over a little bit more actually, and that would have caught that a bit easier. But you know, it's live, so spend a bit more time on your setup, and also pressing it beforehand makes it a lot better. So I hope that's helped. The other seam that you can do as a quick alternative is a fake flat fell seam, where you just stitch your fabrics right sides together, press to one side, and then top stitch. So it looks like a flat fell seam, but it's overlocked on the inside. So I hope that's helped a little bit with flat fell seams if you're doing things, making jeans and things like that. What else was I going to talk about? Oh yes, I was going to do, Suzanne asked about adjusting shoulders, so a little bit of pattern cutting. So I'm going to just move these out the way here. So I've done these in red so you can see them, because I'm very aware that we have a few problems with Facebook Lives that go a bit pixelated. So I hope that's, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
That in screen. I'm losing my voice today.
Oh look, I haven't put that light on.
Oh.
Don't know if that's any better.
That one's not on.
Oh.
We have many lights.
I'm very sorry.
We have many lights.
Failing.
I like to be lit well. Okay, so Suzanne was asking, I think in one of the classes that Suzanne came to at Midhurst, I adjusted a shoulder length for her. So I thought I would show you how to do that. It's a very simple piece of pattern cutting that you can do. If you have made your toile, obviously you've been good and you've made your toile, and you find that the shoulder is either too long or too short, it's very tempting to just cut a piece off the armhole or add a piece here, but of course that's going to really affect your sleeve. So there's a better way of doing it. I'm just going to grab a pen, which I want to show you here. So instead of taking a bit off the edge here, what we're going to do is draw a line from the middle of the shoulder here into the armhole. And I normally go, there's no real rule about this, but I generally go to, before it starts to curve, I would draw a line from the shoulder into the armhole to just before it's going to curve there. Okay, then mark where your stitching line is. Whenever you're doing any pattern alterations, you'll always want to be doing them to your lifting the shoulder as well. Okay, I'll try and do that one as well. Oh, I haven't got a sleeve. Anyway, I'll talk about that in a minute. So whenever you're doing any pattern alterations, it's really important to do them to the stitching line, not the cutting line. It's more accurate that way. So there's two ways you can do it. You could cut off all your seam allowances, do your alterations and then redraw them, or you could just mark on your pattern where your stitching line is going to be. So that's where I've marked there is the stitching line. So then we're going to take this and cut one way to that mark and from the other way.
Don't be sorry, Suzanne. We love suggestions.
Yeah,
so
we love
anything we can't do in a demo here, we will add to our list for YouTube. So you'll get it one way or the other.
Yeah, and if I don't do it this week, I can always do things next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you are, this is going to be a pivot point here. I haven't cut quite far enough in there. Let me just go a bit further in here. So what I'm doing is creating a pivot point here at the stitching line. So if you're shortening a shoulder, you would overlap like that. So if you're overlapping, if you're shortening, you would just overlap. Say you want to shorten your shoulder by ½ an inch, you overlap here by ½ an inch. And then you would stick that down. And I like to use masking tape, mainly because I can draw on it. I like to use a bit of masking tape. There. Let me overlap it and then stick it down. That'd be handy.
It's going well.
Shush you, I don't need heckling from behind the camera. Okay, so I've overlapped that there. But now you can see whenever you do one form of pattern cutting, you create another issue. So we've created this little step here. So, let me all organise with bits of paper and everything. What we do is stick another piece of paper underneath. And stick that in there, and then you redraw the shoulder seam. So you want to go from the armhole edge to the neck edge. So you're not affecting the length of the shoulder and you're not affecting the length of the neckline either, but you are just redrawing your shoulder seam. And that's all you need to do. So that's your white, same if you're want to make your shoulders longer, do the same thing, just open that up and then redraw the shoulder seam. So I hope that's helped, Suzanne. That reminds you of what we did in the class. What was the other thing? Lifting the shoulder. Well, there's a couple of things you can do for lifting the shoulder. Let me just cut this out. But you have to remember that when you lift a shoulder, it's going to affect the sleeve as well. If it's a sleeveless garment, that's fine. Easy. So if you're, oh, let me just trim that off. So again, it's all about creating pivot points. So if your garment fits you really well at the neck here, but it's you want to raise the shoulder, or if you want to raise both bits. Is it? I'm wondering if it's both bits that Suzanne's asking about. I'll show you at an angle anyway. So if you're just raising at the shoulder here, then again you would cut across here. And this is the same thing if you want to lower it as well. You need to lift a shoulder. So you could, if you're just lifting the shoulder but you're okay at the neck, you can just do it this way. You can just create that way. I haven't quite cut to the edge. My paper scissors aren't very sharp. So you could just raise it at the armhole but keep the neck the same. But if you want to raise it all the way across, you can cut right across and raise it that way. Of course, this would then affect your neckline and your arm. So for the neckline, you'd need to recut your facing. You'd have to trace the facing that. And for the armhole, you'd have to cut across the top of the sleeve and raise that up as well. So it just depends. I'm not sure why, Suzanne, you'd want to lift the shoulder. I'd need to have a bit more of a, Margaret's asking when would you need to lift the shoulder. It could be that you feel that it's not long enough between here and the bust point. That could be the reason. And I can do a whole demo on that. Another point about moving the bust point. It might be easier, instead of raising the shoulder, to lower the bust point and move the dart. So that might be...
What FBA?
Well, no, moving the dart, you might not have to do a full bust adjustment. You might just want to move the dart down. Because a lot of us, I think what Suzanne might be referring to is if the... it's about measurements. So we've all done our measurements. And if you check the measurement from the shoulder seam at the neck here, down to the apex of the bust here, that measurement there is really important because that will be the direction that you want your dart to point in. And if your garment's got a dart, then you want it to be pointing the right place. And none of us are the same between here and here. Not making any more comment at that point. But also depending on what bra you're wearing. So instead of raising the shoulder, we just draw a dart on here, and I'll just show you that because that's quite a interesting point. So,
I'm up and down like a yo-yo here.
Oh, sorry. Well, this was an unplanned one. So on a pattern, you will often see a couple markings. Let me run through this now. I'm here now. I'm going to do it. So Amy's walked away. So on a commercial pattern, you often see markings like triangles here at the neck, and that is the shoulder point. And you'll see a circle with a cross in it, and that's the bust point. So the measurement from the shoulder seam to the neck, to the bust point here, shoulder seam at the neck here, to the bust point, is the one that you want to compare. So your one may end up that your bust point's here. Very possibly. So if your garment's got a dart, like this one here at the side, can you see this on the screen, Ames? All right? Yes. I've just drawn a dart. Good. So if your garment's got a dart, it'll be pointing to the pattern's bust points. It'll be pointing here. We want it to point to here, otherwise it's not in the right place. So what you do, I'm just going to draw a grain line on this pattern because I haven't done that. I wasn't expecting to do grain liney things. Okay, so basically what we want to do is move this dart down. I think everyone's really concentrating because we're not getting any comments. And you draw, what you do is draw a line around the dart. So you draw a line that's parallel to the grain line at the point of the dart, and then you draw one perpendicular, I've got to lean forward, sorry, perpendicular above and below, like that. And then I'm going to cut that box out. Here, and slide it down. So whatever difference it is between those two bust points is how much you want to slide your dart down. So I've lost my ruler, but I'm just going to do it by eye, but you will be measuring this really accurately, obviously. I'm just giving you the principle here. So you would slide, whatever the difference is between those two bust points, you would slide that dart down. So the dart is then going to be pointing at your bust point. But make sure you go straight down on this line so that your dart is still in the right angle. Everyone's gone very quiet.
I know.
Perhaps they've all just gone out in the garden. and then you just stick a piece of paper back underneath. Now, because I wasn't prepped for doing a dart, you can see that normally you'd have a little bit of shape here at the end of the dart. Look at my lovely Frankenstein pattern here.
Wendy says she's still here.
Oh, good. Thanks, Wendy. Here. So I'm just going to stick a bit of extra paper here so I can show you, because you would need to do this anyway if you were moving a dart. You'd need to...
Jilly's fascinated. Sally is watching and listening but overlocking as well.
Oh, yes.
Loving a multitasker.
Understand that you're doing it. Why? Yes, moving the dot be easier. All very helpful, Claire. So sorry for the unplugged question. That's fine. It's always good. I like a challenge. I always have challenges in the sewing room and I'm missing those. So if you've moved a dart down, you extend it onto your extra paper at the side here, because what you need to do is fold the bottom line of the dart up onto the top line. So your pattern will go all concave like that, because you know it's got to, the whole idea is it's to give you shape, and then you just cut up the side. So cut up the side through all the layers. Obviously it's a bit tricky with this paper because it's quite thick. There we go. And that will give you the nice shape at the side there, which you need. You need that bit of fabric to sit underneath when you do your dart. So even when you move a dart, you'll need to do that. I hope that was helpful.
I like
That was
it.
helpful.
Oh, good luck, Angela. Hope she's okay.
Oh, yeah, love to Holly. Poor Angela's dog's poorly, so we're wishing her all the best. And we know she's absolutely lovely, Holly. Beautiful dog. So all the best with that, Angela. Lovely to see you. We'll catch up with you later in the week.
Oh, sorry, I just zoomed out on the messy table.
Oh,
Okay.
don't do that. You're supposed to see the tidy bit in the middle.
Do apologise.
So that's my demos this week. I hope that's been helpful.
Claire says
Oh
it's
yes,
a
that's
reminder.
good. Yes, we often do. Yeah, these little alterations, moving darts and things. I do this a lot with people in class, and sometimes when you've got a full bust, all you might need to do is move the dart. You might not need to do anything else, but moving that dart is really important just to make sure it's pointing in the right place. So always check that measurement from the shoulder seam to the apex of the bust. Have a look at my little YouTube video about taking measurements. That'll be really helpful. Anyway, so what was I going to talk about next? I'm going to get Amy to come in now, I think. Amy's got a lovely dress on today. Let me just take things off your chair.
Okay.
Sorry. We just tidy up a bit before Amy comes in. Amy, my
So
dog.
just remove your props.
Yeah, with my props.
Hi.
Yeah. So let me just make sure we can see you on the screen.
I think
Sure
we
we
can.
can.
I could see the chair.
Oh, you can see the chair. Yeah.
It's
So
fine.
look how delayed it is. We're already delayed.
Very.
So you're not there yet. Oh, here you come. I can see you coming. Moving the props. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Let's talk about your dress first of all.
Oh,
I
this
love
dress.
Your dress.
This dress, I've made a few of this dress. It is a Vogue pattern, which I think is discontinued now.
We're going to have to make some more modern things, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think my dress I was
I'm a
wearing
bit
last week.
behind on the sewing, so everything I make is now discontinued. So, but this is a really cool dress. So I hope they do it again. It's a Vogue pattern. It's got an internal pocket here. Not that I ever use it, but I quite enjoyed the make. And it's also got a built-in vest top. So because it's got quite a low side seam on this big sort of back wing, there's a little internal vest top. So really love this dress.
Stand up, so you did that.
Oh. And it's also got these, I'm not going to get my leg up on the chair, but it's got these big splits at the front as well. So yeah, I really like. I'll look up the number though, because you might be able to get it on eBay or something.
It's got a nice little back yoke detail as well, hasn't it? With a little exposed seam, back neck binding. So yeah, it's a really
Loads of really good
It's
detail.
fun.
This is one of my first dresses I made when I was trying to advance my skills
Yeah.
a few years ago.
lots of things in that as well,
Yeah.
isn't there? So what are we doing this week then?
So
Oh, let's see. Suzanne's asking a question. Oh, she's done it already. We're going to talk about that, won't we?
What's that?
The So Organised app.
Oh, yes. So, I'm very sorry I didn't reply to your email, Suzanne. This week has been a little bit chaotic. We are currently, as Mum mentioned, making 3 blazers between us for the blaze, and filming it all and trying to get it to Jane and Wendy, who are making the blazers currently. So it's been a little bit chaotic in here.
It's always chaos here.
Yeah. We've realised that it now takes, for every video that we film, that's about an 8 or 9 hour process from filming to editing to uploading to blah blah. So
yeah. So sorry.
With So Organised, I am going to do a video maybe once Blazer's finished. So hopefully this weekend, and I'll upload it onto YouTube. But you look like you've sorted it all now anyway, so that's really good.
Where's your fabric from? I think is it Fabric
This
Land?
is Fabric
It's
Land.
Fabric Land. Viscose, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Fabric Land fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about £4 a metre or something.
Yeah, nice and drapey, because this was your wearable toile.
It was, and when I lived in Brighton, my flat was right behind Fabric Land, so
It's terrible.
it was really bad. I used to have many metres of fabric in my stash when I lived in Brighton, and yeah, this was one of them. Yes, it's fun. So yes, I will be doing a So Organised tutorial.
And then we'll try and actually get organised.
Yeah, we'll try to. Who's that?
That's Charlie. It's actually Steve.
Oh,
Yeah. Steve used to write poems. He's a poet, isn't it? Yes, poet Steve. It's actually Charlie. It's very confusing. Okay, so yes, what we're doing this week, we're going to do some more YouTube videos, aren't we?
We are. We have. We're going to do a YouTube tutorial on making scrubs, because we've had a few people that have asked that. And then there's various other little demos that we're going to do on the list. It keeps growing, that list, so we need to go back through it. And your very exciting new product that is about to go online.
Yes. Well, I thought I might. I thought you might like some time with me. Not on a Facebook Live, but if you're stuck on a project, or if you want me to demonstrate a technique to you, you can book some time with me. I'm going to put it up on the website as a product, so you can book some time with me, and we can do it through Zoom or WhatsApp, whichever is easier for you. We've been using Zoom quite a lot for the classes, and it does work really well as long as the internet holds up. So I'll put that up as a product. You can either book a half hour with me, or an hour, or 2 hours, whatever you like. We'll just sew along together. So I'll put that up later, and then we can see if we can keep sewing. That's the main thing, isn't it? That's what we want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Suzanne says about Fabric Land. Yeah, they do have some quite good.
They
fabrics.
do. I mean, Fabric Land are actually very good for things like a lightweight viscose, cottons. They occasionally get some good jerseys and linen as well. You now and again get a really gorgeous linen.
Yeah.
But it's quite hit and miss.
It is, yeah, and it's particularly good for toiles as well.
Yeah, really
I think
good.
their fabric's very good. I've had some nice denim from them as well, actually.
Yeah.
Just for making things. So yeah.
Plus, if you need something sparkly. They always have lots of sparkly stuff.
Some fabrics, and I'll tell you what they are good for. Coming up this time of year, they're very good for swimwear fabric.
Yeah, they are.
They have a large selection of lycra for swimwear and for swimwear linings, and some really quite wacky ones.
Yeah, they do the power mesh too.
Yeah, they do.
They do the power mesh that you need to insert into the swimwear.
Yeah, so Fabric Land are particularly good for that. We have no affiliation with Fabric Land.
No,
but it's just good. We're just letting you know our experience of that. So has anyone else got any questions? Do you have anything else to talk about this week? I've gone through my whole list. I must have been doing my normal thing of talking really quickly.
Oh.
Yeah. Mind you, we have been online for 45 minutes. So if anyone's got any more questions, or I can let you all get back to your making scrubs or gardening, whatever you're doing. We need to get back to our finishing blazers. Wendy. Oh yes, I think it may be.
The weather's going to be more sewing friendly next week.
Yes. I know. I think a few people. Oh, there's Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Charging your iPad. You'll have to catch up with us on the live. We're just going to finish in a minute. We just thought that everyone's probably had enough of us by now and want to get back to their sewing projects. But yeah, obviously this live does stay on the Claire's Threads feed.
Do message us with any tutorials and demos or workshops that you want us to film, because obviously the blazer is the last one that's scheduled now, so that will go up on the website as a product, and you can then make the blazer. But there are many more we could do. So if there are any workshops that you've been always wanting to get onto and can't because she's always fully booked, then we will be happy to do some more, because every time we do a workshop, our wardrobes are getting increased now, because we have to make now. It's great. So we're actually sewing all the time.
And we have to do it in different stages, so it's really good.
Well, yeah, you can see, I'll show you my blazer, because...
Oh yeah, it's really good, lovely. You should just slip it on even though it hasn't got any sleeves in it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the difference. Mum's has sleeves.
Yeah, mine has sleeves, but not quite finished the lining.
Oh, I've got pins in it, so I might get stabbed. But yeah, mine is sleeveless currently, but the welts are in. Facings collar is on, so I've just got to do the sleeve.
And we did a full bust adjustment.
And I did a full, we had to do an FBA because I wanted it to fit in here, and we added darts into the back as well. So mine is getting there.
It's looking really lovely.
Yeah.
It's looking really lovely. Very nice. So I think Sally was asking about us doing a trouser workshop.
Trousers.
Yeah, we can definitely do trousers. What did Sally say?
What sort of trousers?
Is it too difficult to do a workshop online for trousers? No, I don't think so. I think we could do trousers.
It's just the fitting, isn't it?
Yeah, we could, but we could do it. We could do it along with some different fitting ideas.
Well, we've already now worked out that Mum just uses me as her model. So if you've watched the measurements video on YouTube, you will see I am the one being measured.
Suzanne's asking, did we line the raw edge coat? No, the raw edge coat's not lined. It literally is just boiled wool. It's just very simple construction. If you're working with the Meg's Atelier book, you can do it as a lined coat. You can. There's all the instructions for making a facing and doing it lined, so you can use the same style. But with boiled wool, I just do it as raw edge.
Wendy, do you want to go up a little bit? Yeah.
Oh, Wendy's saying, oh, thank you, Wendy. That's good. Wendy's been doing the Wendy's been doing the blazer workshop this weekend because she was booked on.
The pattern is any blazer you like, Sally. So
yeah,
my pattern is the Jessica blazer by Closet Case.
Yep.
This one is the Nina Lee Richmond blazer.
We were also working. I've also done the Meg's Atelier new blazer pattern, which is another. Got that over there in white linen. So
and the quick sew one.
And the quick sew is my original one. So basically, the techniques that we use in the blazer workshop is basically speed tailoring techniques, and it's to show that you can use the same techniques on any blazer. And I go through some of the tricky bits like the notched collar. So this bit here, give you some different techniques for doing that. Try and give you some helpful hints about working through with that. So. Yeah, Wendy said it's really good because I know I talk too quickly. I try not to. So at least you can stop me so I don't go. Amy's always telling me. Amy's always behind the camera going like this. So,
slow down.
Yeah. So I get excited because I like to tell people things.
I know you do. We like to hear them.
Yeah. Good. So if anyone's got any more questions, just give us a shout. If you, like Amy said, if you've got any ideas for workshops or tutorials you'd like to see, just let us know and we'll add them to our ever-growing list on the whiteboard over there.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it for this week.
I think so.
Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll keep doing this. We're back again next week with more tutorials and catching up. It's so lovely. Really enjoyed catching up with everybody. Really missing everybody. But hopefully it won't be too long and we can all get together again soon.
Yeah. If you're not a member of Midhurst Sewers, just search for Midhurst Sewers on Facebook and request to join. And that's our little Facebook group. And people are often posting pictures of their makes and ideas and asking for inspiration on there too. So that's a nice little community that's growing on there. I think we've got over 50 members now, so it's
lovely.
Really nice little community.
And it's often people you might have met on a workshop if you come to Midhurst before. It's not someone you might have met, and so it's nice to keep everyone together. So so I think that's it today.
I think I have to go.
Yeah, Amy has to.
Bye
guys. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. Have a great week sewing and do keep in touch. Bye.